The one thing that strikes me about this World Cup is the amount in sheer numbers that the supporters have travelled from South America, but also the passion that their supporters have. And we saw shots there of one woman actually during the national anthem with a tear rolling down her cheek in a vital game for both sides as Senegal and Colombia vie with Japan for a place in the last 16. Pat Nevin.
Do you know, this is really what I love about the World Cup. Basically, an African team against a South American team. The joy of being involved in it, the colours, all the things that you've seen around this stadium have been absolutely phenomenal. Certainly for the numbers, there is no doubt that the South Americans are winning it, and for the singing, they won it as well. Hey, but for the dancing before it, we're hugely impressed by the Senegalese. They were absolutely brilliant. But this is a game that is almost impossible to call, and it really should be a cracker.
A reminder then of the team, starting with Colombia. Ospina of Arsenal is in goal. Arias, Mina, Sanchez of Tottenham and Mujica the defence. Carlos Sanchez and Orobe in the centre of the midfield. Quintero, James Rodriguez and Juan Cuadrado behind Falcao as they make the two alterations. Sanchez and Orobe coming back into the side in the centre of midfield. Sanchez, of course, after serving his one-match ban. Colombia, yellow shirts and white shorts. Senegal in the all-green with a white trim have made three alterations. Kouyaté of West Ham makes his first start for Alfred N'Jai. Papa N'Jai makes way for Balde, and there's a change at right back. Gassama coming in for Wage. So Kadim N'Jai is in goal. Gassama, Sane, Koulibaly and Sabali are the defenders for Senegal. Sarr, Gueye, Kouyaté and Mane the midfield. Balde and Nayang up front. They played 4-4-2 against Poland. They switched to a 4-3-3 against Japan. And a reminder of the permutations as they're once again back to a 4-4-2. Japan need at least a point to qualify. They would go through if Colombia were to lose. Senegal need a point to qualify. If Japan lose, there is a chance they could go through after a defeat for Senegal, who, a reminder, are the last remaining African side in the competition. Colombia, realistically, must win. But there is the possibility they could qualify with a draw if Japan were to lose to Poland. We'll keep you up to date with that game, Japan against Poland. But this is the key game, and of course, it has a bearing on England. And as soon as this game is finished, you'll get all the build-up from Kaliningrad. England against Belgium, kick-off at 7 o'clock, because the Group H winners take on the runners-up from England's group, and the winners of England's group take on the runners-up from this one in Rostov on Monday night, as Senegal, with their coach Aliou Cissé, formerly of Birmingham and Portsmouth from his playing career, waits against Colombia. But this could be an attractive game of football. We could have goals in this one, Pat Nevin.
Well, I can't see either team getting out thinking of a draw. They want to try and get this game won. Once again, they know they're 90 minutes right now away from getting into the last 16, so I think they will go for it. Good number of players here that we know, the likes of Kouyaté, Gueye, Mane, and they'll all be trying to win this game for Senegal.
Underway then, Samara, the setting, about 27 degrees as we look. Colombia playing from left to right in their yellow shirts and white shorts, and straight away an effort from Niang is hooked goalwards, but he hit it high off his right foot from about 25 yards out, and that will be a goal kick for Ospina to take. Colombia aiming for the knockout stages for only the third time in their history. Senegal, well, they have a proud record. They're yet to lose in any of their 7 World Cup matches in normal time, and they are flying the flag for Africa as Ospina takes the goal kick. Falcao rises in the air, and Senegal playing from right to left, play the ball forward. Here is Mane just dropping into the on the halfway line, passes the ball back, and now across to Sabali on the near side, the left. And the whistles from the Colombian support as the Senegal supporters in the stadium just sit down and rock from side to side with a rhythmic backing that they always provide. Over the top of Balde, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. 0-0 early stages, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, I don't think Colombia have really got into it yet, but I don't think they'll be panicked about it. They're just kind of sizing each other up at the moment. I'm really interested to see. I mean, Juan Cuadrado, a player that we remember from his days at Chelsea, didn't really do a great deal, but his time at Juventus has been much, much better. James Rodriguez, of course, a top quality player. I mean, a player very unfortunate to be on loan at lowly Bayern Munich. And the biggest and most interesting one maybe could be Falcao, player who I thought was gone, absolutely finished out of it in his time at United and at Chelsea. But he seems to have got it back, and it helps that he's got creative players behind him, creating chances for him. We'll hope for a couple in this first half.
Koulibaly at the heart of the Senegal defence. The other player to keep an eye on for Colombia is Quintero, who certainly caught the eye the other night. Played essentially 2 10s, James Rodriguez and Quintero.
Yeah, and Quintero again is the player that, you know, the more you want to see him. Actually, just as across the dancing just now, the Senegalese dancing, it's actually better than what's happened in the pitch in the first few minutes, but then again, it is brilliant dancing. But you're right, Quintero's another one that's, you've got the 4 players that are very attack-minded. Oddly enough, the Colombians haven't really got their central midfield sorted out. They change it every game, but they're not worried about the front 4. They really believe in that group.
0-0 in the early stages. BBC Radio 5 Live. Senegal against Colombia, keeping up to date with Japan against Poland, which is taking place in Volgograd, where Japan, currently top of Group H, locked on 4 points with Senegal. Colombia just a point behind on 3. Of course, they were hindered after Sanchez was sent off after just 3 minutes against Japan in their opening fixture. For that, he's received death threats back home, but he is back in the side. Not surprisingly, Jose Pekerman, the Argentine, the coach of Colombia, said he has been affected, as Senegal will have a throw on the far side, the right, almost midway through the Colombia half. And Gassama, and then Senegal go all the way back to Kalidou Koulibaly at the heart of their defence, and because of the pressing from Colombia, back towards Njai, their goalkeeper, decked out all in purple, away to our right-hand side. Strikes it long downfield, headed away then by Mujica, the left-back for Colombia. Once again is in possession. Mane's putting a little bit of pressure, he looks across as the ball goes all the way back towards the speed. A 0-0, Pat Nevin. Yeah,
and Colombia are trying to play all the football. They're trying to get the ball down, play it along the ground as much as possible. Very much the Senegalese are going back to front at the moment. They've got a hugely powerful side there. Who's really jumped out to me right at the start is Cheikh Kayode. Kayode, he's unbelievable, his tackles so far. He's had 4 where referees would be tempted to have a word with him. Not saying he deserves to get booked yet, but he is utterly whipped up for this game. I think he's surprised that he's not started any games before now. Here's his chance.
Yeah, substitute appearances in both of the first 2 games for the West Ham United midfielder, who has received his fair share of criticism from Hammer supporters in the season that has just gone, as Senegal come forward. Niang looking towards Mane, who just moved away towards the right-hand side, brought forward by Colombia. Challenge then came in on Oribe. Referee lets the game flow. Colombia back in possession. Quintero just outside the centre circle, spreads it out towards Juan Cuadrado, midway through the Senegal half, just in from the right touchline, and then blocked by Sabali, the left back. Turned his back on it, but blocked it, and out of play goes for a throw. 0-0.
Yeah, first touch for Quintero was lovely, wasn't it? He gets himself into the pocket there, lots of space there, and plays the perfect ball out to Cuadrado. Cuadrado, who usually goes and runs a defender the first time he gets the ball, didn't in this occasion. So maybe that tells you a real lack of confidence in his own ability to outrun his marker Sabali in this occasion.
Sanchez collects the ball from Davison Sanchez, the Tottenham player, and then Quintero misjudges that pass somewhat behind Arias, the right back, who was pushed up, and out of play it goes for a Senegal throw. So 0-0 here, still no goals between Japan and Poland. And as soon as this game finishes, we'll give you a flavour of Kaliningrad ahead of the 7 o'clock kickoff. In the build-up, you will hear the voices of people such as Alan Shearer, Jermaine Genius, Didier Drogba, Martin Keown, and of course our own commentary team of our correspondent John Murray and Chris Waddle, and not forgetting the big man Terry Butcher alongside Kelly Cates in our studio in Red Square in Moscow. So much debate about where England should finish. What should they do? Do they go for the win? Do they opt to finish second? Gareth Southgate's not having any of that as the debate rages on social media. And of course, this group has a bearing on who England could face in the last 16. But it's 0-0 as the drums beat of the Senegal supporters inside the stadium in Samara. Been playing for just over 6 minutes. and they're in no real hurry to take the throw. Youssef Sabali, one of a number of players of Senegal who's on a yellow card, gets it back from Sadio Mane, goes back. Idrissa Gueye of Everton, short of the halfway line. They work the ball back across Salif Sane, now at the heart of that Senegal defence. But Kouyaté, and it's been quite a cagey opening, really, Pat Nevin.
Understandably, for many reasons. Obviously, if you're Senegal side, you know that, you know, draw is good enough. I mean, it's early days yet, but why push it? Why take any chances? You're not going to do that. And we know with the Colombians, if they feel as if they make a mistake, they're really up against it. So there is a tension. The passing hasn't been great, particularly from the back of the Colombian side. I was expecting a lot better from that. But you can hear, well, you don't need us to tell you who's on the ball, do you? Because the noise that the Colombians make when they're on the ball is great, but when the Senegal team are on the ball, there it's just whistles and boos. Try to put them off.
Balde was caught late. The referee, who's from Serbia, Milorad Mazic, he took charge of the Champions League final. Real Madrid against Liverpool, giving that free kick. It was Arias who was late. Free kick to Senegal, who, remember, a point will be sufficient for Senegal to go through. The onus really is on the Colombians, as a free kick is going to be taken. Niang is somebody who they'll be aiming for. Keita Balde, who plays for Monaco, is also in there. There is a cluster of yellow and green shirts inside the D as the ball is being placed down. But Balde is the player who's going to take this, but there's no width. All the players have gathered inside that D of the just on the outside the penalty area, away to our left-hand side, as Balde waits to take it. The referee's just trying to cut out a little bit of nonsense as we wait for Balde to take it.
They've got a big height advantage though, haven't they? The Senegal side, really big height advantage, so just put it in there and let your players go and fight for it.
Koulibaly's up from the back, he's making a run. Kouyaté is there, Sané's also up from the back. Balde will take it, it's high, it's aimed towards Kouyaté, right down the throat of David Ospina.
Yeah, far too much air in that one. If you've got all those players there, I mean, they're all moving about as much as possible. There's probably 6 green shirts in that D there, just as you were describing. So give it a little bit of a whip, give them something to go and attack. That ball lobbed into the air, plenty of time for the goalkeeper to see it, and Ospina took that with ease.
Balde short of the halfway line. Senegal in all green, playing from right to left. Ball played up towards Sadio Mane, again gathered in. It was a cross that just drifted into the arms of the Colombian goalkeeper from Sabali on the left-hand side. Colombia in their yellow shirts, playing from left to right, have never been involved in a goalless draw in their 20 previous World Cup games. Only Austria with 29 and the United States with 33 can actually better that if they wanted to better that particular record. Cross-fired in low, easily dealt with by the goalkeeper Karim Njai, as Falco made a run towards the near post. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
They're neat and they're smooth when they get the ball in that midfield area. It all does seem to come through Quintero. You know, he gets the ball down, he's comfortable on it.
As the ball is played up towards Niang in the penalty area, moves out of the box right-hand side, whips over the cross. Sanchez is there, Carlos Sanchez. Quintero lays it off, ball then up towards Arias on the right-hand side. Arias will wait, plays ball forward, stopped though by 21 for Senegal. Gassama quite high up the pitch there was the right back to stop that attack as they go back. Carlos Sanchez actually dropping in between Davison Sanchez and Mina, the other central defender. Forward then towards Cuadrado, bundled off the ball, goes to ground, and the referee stops play. Let's get an update then from Japan against Poland, the other game in Group H. Conor McNamara.
Yes, just over 10 minutes played, same as you, Ian. Japan 0, Poland 0. Poland had started slowly and deliberately. They had a mild scare inside the opening minute when Fabianski had to rush out of his area to clear away with his feet. Remember, Japan go through as long as they don't lose. Japan 0, Poland 0.
Yep, that's what they require, the point to qualify. But if Colombia were to lose, then that would also be good enough for them. But Colombia have been awarded a free kick. Falcao caught in a Senegal sandwich between Koulibaly and Youssef Sabali. And
I would argue that could be a yellow card, Ian. And he's not going to get it, because I've watched the referee and he's been quite lenient so far, hasn't he? I quite like that, that's okay, keeps the game flowing. But he's attacked the ball there, but he's been so reckless, and he really has wiped Falcao out. But it gives Colombia a great position, doesn't it?
James Rodriguez territory without a doubt, although Quintero is the player who's placing the ball down, and James Rodriguez has actually walked away from where the ball is going to be taken here. So Quintero, it's just under 25 yards out from goal. It is right of centre. Quintero is eyeing this one up. Quintero.
I think Cuadrado as well. I've seen him hit it from this sort of angle as well. You're right, it looks like a left-footed player shot, but I've seen Cuadrado do well from here.
Quintero's run-up is going to come from the right-hand side. Juan Cuadrado is actually going to run from immediately behind the ball, not getting any side angle for any whip, but it is Quintero who strikes it, and he strikes it low, and the goalkeeper makes the save. And Jai moving away to his right-hand side, spooning the ball behind for a corner kick.
To be honest, there was nowhere near enough pace on it. Yes, he's bounced it right in front of the goalkeeper, and sometimes that's a good thing to do because he's going to try and palm it out again there, but there was nowhere near enough power to beat a decent keeper.
Corner kick comes in from the left-hand side. The goalkeeper came off his line. He was challenged by Cuadrado, but the referee has blown his whistle, and the danger passes for Senegal, who are, remember, the last African side remaining in the competition. Morocco, Tunisia, Egypt, Nigeria have all crashed out from the group stages. This will complete the last 16 lineup. And then after this set of games in Group H, we focus on England's group. England against Belgium. Commentary from 7 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live. And then tomorrow, and we'll all take a breather. I don't know what we'll do with ourselves as we
travel, I think.
It's a day free of football on 5 Live before the knockout stages start on Saturday.
Yeah, we can watch replays, can't we? Catch up on all the games and make sure you're on top of everything, but I mean, it has been brilliant, and the fact that there's still interest, certainly in this group, even more so than the England group. We know who's going to go through in the England group, but it's just how it's going to finish up. But this one's good that it's going to right to the death, and there's really excitement right to the death in this one as well. I think it's been a great first round.
It certainly has. I know what we're doing. We're travelling to Nizhny Novgorod ahead of the knockout stages. Senegal, Colombia 0-0. As Davison Sanchez spreads the ball out towards Cuadrado. Did he keep the ball in play? No, he didn't. But there's been a chance in Volgograd. Conor McNamara.
Yeah, still Japan 0, Poland 0. Muto, though, the striker who's come into the team, has had the best shot of the match so far. A powerful effort, beaten away by Fabianski. Okazaki of Leicester with a half chance as well, a near post header. Japan, who've already drawn with Senegal, who've beaten Colombia. They've had the best start here. Japan 0, Poland 0.
Don't forget the key permutations. Japan need at least a point. Senegal need a point. Colombia ideally need to win. As Senegal come forward. Sabali, Sadio Mane tried the instant layoff into the penalty area towards Balde. Cleared away by Ospina. Idrissa Gueye of Everton will head it forward. Kouyaté gets his head on that to knock the ball towards Mojica, the left back for Colombia. Gassama, the right back, will play it down the line. Was there a challenge from behind? The referee from Serbia says no. And Colombia now with Carlos Sanchez coming through the midfield out towards Cuadrado, quickly challenged. Sabali wrapped his leg around Cuadrado and fouled him in the process. Free kick to Colombia, still goalless.
Am I allowed to say now, can we give this referee the final? I love what he's been doing in this. He's the players that are rolling about. I mean, there's 3 or 4 went down with injuries that have actually been kicked, but anyone who's making a meal of it, he's just blanking them completely. Actually, I think he's one of the ones that could get a yellow card out if he sees too much rolling about and writhing and pretense. I like what he's doing. He's kept the game flowing a little bit better, and most of the flowing football, as we say, has been coming from Colombia. I would say there's been one pretty decent move, just one from Senegal, and that's saying something. I was expecting a lot better from them. They seem to be playing well within themselves and just trying to play on the break, play long balls.
Well, the fact that Serbia are out of the competition, there's every possibility that Milorad Masic, who took charge of the Champions League final, could be given the big game on July the 15th. 0-0. It's all about who's going to reach the knockout stages in this group, Group H. It's 0-0. Samara, Colombia against Senegal. The yellow-shirted Colombian supporters jumping up and down in the stadium, and no doubt taking in the delights of a wonderful city, a hospitable city on the banks of the River Volga. An embankment that stretches for around 3 miles with its bars and restaurants as the locals dive inside the river. As Sadio Mane's in the penalty area, he goes down under the challenge, and the referee has given a penalty. It was Davison Sanchez of Tottenham who dived in. The Colombians protest, but Senegal have been awarded a spot kick,
Well, they'll almost certainly look at the VAR, because they always do. The thing is, Davinson Sanchez, he's going with his right foot. He is tackling with the incorrect foot. Now, it doesn't matter if you're right-footed or not. You're going into that sort of tackle from that sort of ankle. You go with your right foot. You are taking a massive chance there. In fact, the likelihood is you'll take the player, and that's a penalty. That's just a definite penalty. It's one of those ones where we're seeing a third little look at it. He's not getting anywhere near enough of the ball there. If he tried to wrap his left foot round it, he might have a chance, but not with the right foot from that angle. That's really naive.
Davinson Sanchez, the referee, is now going to consult the TV screen down by the tunnel.
What do you think? I mean, I'm thinking penalty. I can't believe he's actually making the effort there to go over. So for the referee, I've just said, I hope he gets the final. I hope he gives this penalty kick.
I think he got a little bit of the ball first, and then Mane goes to ground.
Yeah, but you can't take a player out like that. No, we shall see what the referee said. I would give a penalty, and I think he gets the player first.
Milorad Masic has looked at the TV screen. What is he going to do here? 0-0. He blows his whistle. No penalty.
No penalty. I am stunned by that. I think that'll be a massive, massive talking point. I think he's taken a little bit of the player's left foot when he's gone through there. He's gone with the wrong foot as well. Massive, massive call by the referee there in the VAR. Well,
Aliou Cissé, the Senegalese coach, can't believe it. I've got to say, I did think he got the ball first, just a little bit, before Mane goes
just
to
about
ground.
To see, no, he's caught the side of his... I'm not changing my mind on this. We've seen the best close-up imaginable, and he's taken... I'm looking at it from the forward's point of view, and he's taken the side of his shin before he's got the ball. Or almost exactly the same time. You can't make that sort of challenge. The forward's got right of way there, surely.
Well, I tell you what, it's a let-off for Colombia, bearing in mind that they must win this game. And Davinson Sanchez of Tottenham, who was involved in that incident with Sadio Mane, and in fact Sadio Mane then just pulls him to the ground and he goes down, the Tottenham player, on the halfway line. So a talking point. And of course it involves VAR.
To be honest, I'm happy with the chance to look at it. I mean, it shows you it was a tight decision. I actually don't agree with it, but to be honest, if VAR goes and gets 80 or 90% of the decisions right, I'm delighted with it, because they weren't getting anywhere near that with those big decisions beforehand that they were having to call.
So it's still 0-0. It's still 0-0 between Japan and Poland. So therefore, as it stands at the moment, Japan and Senegal would be going through. And as it stands, Japan would go through as the group winners and Senegal as the runners-up. And of course, those two teams, if it was to stay like that, would be playing against England and Belgium, who meet to see who finishes top of Group G. And all the build-up to come from Kaliningrad on BBC Radio 5 Live. But we're in the 20th minute, and now Senegal have been awarded a free kick. Remember, they've always had that decision to not give them the penalty that had been awarded initially by the Serbian referee, and it's going to be a free kick that Niang is going to take midway through the Colombia half. Once again, everybody is gathered in quite a central area around the D. There's no width whatsoever as 6 green shirts to aim for. Colombia have everybody back to deal with this free kick. Senegal with Niang to take it very, very deep, too deep, straight down the throat of Ospina once again.
We were at a game the other day there, it was the Russian game against Uruguay, and the ball's put into the box from set pieces from the Russians was absolutely awful. I mean, really dreadful, and it was the only chance they had of scoring when they were down to 10 men. That's 2 great opportunities that the Senegalese have had to put the ball in there, and they've been nowhere near good enough balls, and that's from a set piece. You should easily be able to put that in a dangerous area there.
Davinson Sanchez turns. Colombia with Carlos Sanchez now midway through his own half. Mina, the tall, lean central defender, found the net with a goal against Poland in a 3-0 victory. 6'5", plays for Barcelona, only made 6 appearances at the new camp. Maybe struggled to adapt after his €10 million move from Palmeiras. May well be loaned out for the forthcoming season from Barcelona. There's Cuadrado on the right-hand side. Colombia still drawing 0-0, needing, though, ideally the 3 points to keep their matters and their destiny in their own hands as Carlos Sanchez tries to stop Senegal, but Kouyaté will spread the ball out towards the right back. Gassama coming forward, one of 3 changes made by Aliou Cissé. We're approaching the midway point of the first half. Still no goals in Samara, still no goals in Volgograd. BBC Radio 5 Live as Koulibaly at the heart of that Senegal defence, and Idrissa Gueye will come short to collect it, and then that man mountain of a central defender, Koulibaly, will come forward, shrugs off Falcao, plays it forward. Was there a nudge in the back there on Balde? The referee says no, but Colombia at the moment can't get hold of the ball.
You're absolutely right. The last 5 minutes since about the penalty decision, I think it's been much better for Senegal. They're holding the ball better. Actually, they're passing the ball better now. They were giving it away far too quickly and too easily beforehand because they were so keen to just level the ball up front. They know they've got good pace up there, so they were trying to use that, but they were just doing it too early, thoughtlessly. And at the moment, they're playing it a little bit better, they're passing it better.
Idrissa Gueye pushes the ball forward, and then Niang is able to turn, and Niang drifts out towards the left-hand side, has some support from Balde. Coming forward now is the left-back Sabali, but his curling ball off his right foot drifts away and out for a goal kick, and it remains goalless, as it does between Japan and Poland.
We often talk about the creative players in the World Cup. We're fortunate we see most of the great creative players at this World Cup. At the moment, it jumps out to you that the final ball, particularly for Senegal, has not been good enough. I mean, obviously we've had one pretty good through ball that Davinson Sanchez may or may not have got something on. I don't think he did. I think it should have been a penalty kick. But apart from that, the paucity of their final ball into the box has just been shining through, and that's not good enough to get you through to the final stages of the World Cup. And I know we're going to argue about that penalty all day long, and you're going to have Terry Butcher on your side.
Well, we'll get the thoughts of Terry at half-time.
Oh, come on, he's a centre-back. What do you think he's going to say? The big man.
Alongside Kelly in the Red Square studio in Moscow. Cuadrado. Quintero was caught late there. Referee is just quick to have a word with Idrissa Gueye. He is one of a number of players who's on a yellow card. Idrissa Gueye just to be careful he doesn't speak out of turn here, because I think the referee isn't going to take any action. Just speaking, explaining his decision, his rationale. Idrissa Gueye now just taking those words on board, and he actually puts his hand on the shoulder, but he was late on Quintero.
And you know what he did? He stood on his toe again.
Yeah,
I've been talking about this all the way through this competition. It's amazing. And I know a number of people have suggested it's because the boots are much lighter, etc. It can't be just that. The amount of times players have done it, I don't think that was deliberate from Idrissa Gueye. It's just the way he plays. He gets tight, he gets close, he has to get tackles in. Now let's see if Colombia can put a better ball in than the Senegal team have been able to do. Very similar position for them this time.
Quintero has already tested the goalkeeper Njai with a free kick about 12 minutes ago. We're now in the 25th minute. Still goalless, still no goals between Japan and Poland. Cuadrado just has a word with Quintero. The way that he's shaping up, very little of a run-up. He's going to dink this one in. Indeed, he plays it in now. And then Falcao with a header over the top of the crossbar.
Absolutely right into the right position. I mean, you should be able to do that. A professional player should be able to do that. Falcao, to be honest, he'll be gutted that he doesn't put that on target. But watching that again here, do you know what? It would have been offside anyway. They'd have had a look at that in the VAR, and it would have been offside. But the ball's perfect. It's between the centre-backs and the goalkeeper. Impossible for the keeper to come for it because of the trajectory. That's how you put a final ball, and that's the importance of these creative players like Quintero. He's looked the most dangerous so far, has he, in a Colombian yellow shirt? Yeah,
he's had more of an influence in the game so far than James Rodriguez.
Yeah, no, absolutely. James Rodriguez, to be honest, he's been so peripheral. You just wonder if he's actually carrying a little injury. He's had very little to do in the game so far.
25 minutes played. Colombia, who conceded a penalty, and then after consulting VAR, had the fortune to see that overruled then by Milad Radmasic, the Serbian referee. As Sadio Mane forces Davinson Sanchez to head the ball out of play for a throw. Let's get an update from Volgograd. Japan against Poland. Conor McNamara.
Still Japan 0, Poland 0. Japan have had 2 shots on target, both from the edge of the area. Yoshinori Muto and Gotouku Saki, both saved by Fabianski. At the start of the tournament, a survey in Japan found that 90% of Japan fans didn't think they'd get out of the group. As things stand, Japan are going through if it stays like this. Japan 0, Poland 0.
Yeah, as it stands, Japan will go through as group winners. Senegal would go through as runners-up of Group H. It's 0-0 in both games. Senegal are in possession. Gay to Kouyaté. Kouyaté into the centre circle, then gets it back. He's on the halfway line in that central area of the field is the West Ham player. Falcao goes towards him. Kouyaté's actually saying then to Gassama, the right back, just to get back into position as the ball comes to the left-hand side. Idrissa Gueye, Mane drops his shoulder, he's away, then from Mina, he's into the penalty area. Excellent sliding block challenge comes in from Davison Sanchez, with a shot then that is fired in the end, was easily dealt with by the goalkeeper Ospina from Balde's effort.
It's a great bit of play there. The little turn by Mane, he's absolutely done the centre-back there. He's tried to get close to him, but he's dropped the shoulder, he's went miles beyond him there. But well done, Davison Sanchez. He's got back brilliantly, made a good tackle, led to the shot on the goalkeeper, did not trouble Ospina at all, but what a great little turn there.
It's turning into an interesting duel between the two, who of course will know each other well from their encounters in the Premier League. For Tottenham against Liverpool, as Senegal are on the attack, the shot is low and easily saved by Ospina, as that effort just was posing no problems from Niang as he just cut inside, and Ospina with his body behind the ball made a comfortable save. But of course it was the penalty that wasn't awarded involving those two players, Davison Sanchez and Sadio Mane, as we approach the half hour and it's still 0-0.
I wanted to dig you up and say the penalty was awarded, it's just rescinded after that.
It changed his
I'm trying
mind.
to help myself here. No, to be fair, I still think they're very, very unlucky not to get that, and I think there'll be words about that to the referee as he walks off, but he's had a good look at it, you know, and it was a very, very close call. It was one of those ones where if you didn't use the VAR, you are absolutely just guessing. You're absolutely 100% just guessing.
Sabali's going to take the throw for Senegal deep inside his own half. It's a right-footed clearance that is laid off, but Senegal are back in possession with Sadio Mane, who's pulled to the ground there by Carlos Sanchez for a free kick that they want to take quickly, but the referee, I think, says that the ball was moving and it's going to have to be retaken.
They're 10 or 15 minutes, though. They've just got better and better, I think, Senegal. I think we have a lot of belief about them. It's as if they thought we didn't need to do anything, just hold on to this. A draw will definitely be enough. But since the penalty kick, I think they realise now, look, you might as well go and try and win this game, and they're capable to actually break them down. So they didn't get the penalty kick, but they've thought to themselves, we can actually break that defence.
Karim Njai, the goalkeeper, decked out all in purple with the ball at his feet, as Colombia are going to be making a change, and it's going to be an attacking change as well. Luis Muriel is going to be coming on.
I wonder if it is James Rodriguez. I was saying, he's been so quiet that you just wonder if he's fully fit just now.
Sadio Mane, dispossessed by Carlos Sanchez, who runs the ball back to David Ospina away to our left-hand side. Nearly half an hour play in Samara, still 0-0. Japan-Poland also goalless. Davison Sanchez has to stretch to collect that ball from Yerry Mina, his tall and lean central defensive partner. Mojica now, the left back, will try and pass that ball up towards James Rodriguez, who doesn't really show a great willingness to chase after it. And now Senegal are back in possession. Idrissa Gueye, who often helps out the two central defenders, coming short to collect the ball to Salif Sane, who clears long. Niang passes the ball forward, aimed towards Balde, nipped back then by Mane. Mane goes down, and the assistant referee on that far side has raised his flag, and that'll be a free kick, but that might well now mean that the change can be made for Colombia.
Yeah, I think the referee was going to give the free kick there, but decided against it when he realised that there was an offside just seconds before that. Well done, officials working well together, and the change will be made. And
it is James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not sure.
This is interesting in the fact that James Rodriguez has been involved with 10 of Colombia's 14 World Cup goals. He's scored 6, he's had 4 assists, but he, as you said, Pat, he's been on the periphery. He clearly isn't fit. James Rodriguez is being replaced by Luis Muriel.
There was something happened about, I think it was about 5 or 6 minutes into the game, and it just looked like a little knock to me. It didn't look like much, but ever since then he's kind of not, it's as if he doesn't really want to get close to players, as if he's worried about getting hurt again. So I'm not shocked that he's coming off, although very disappointed, because he is a very, very good football player, and he will be a miss. But having said that, Muriel, he plays a lot of the games for them, Colombia, so you know, he is a miss, but he's not it's not as if they're replacing him with somebody who doesn't regularly play.
Yeah, this is his 19th cap, Luis Muriel. You might remember in the Champions League, David De Gea made an absolutely breathtaking save against Sevilla in the Champions League in Sevilla, and it was actually from the header from Luis Muriel. But where he actually plays, whether it means a change in the system, we'll have to wait and see. But to lose somebody of that influence of James Rodriguez for what he can conjure up for Colombia, and of course we saw that 4 years ago at the World Cup in Brazil, when his 6 goals actually won him the Golden Boot. So that will be a setback for Colombia, but they had to make the change because he wasn't involved.
No,
clearly wasn't.
They were almost playing with 10 men, and it's just, you can't do it at this point in time. It must have hurt to make that change there, because the manager Peckerman, I mean, he knows the capabilities of him, as you say, all those goals that he's been involved in. So it's a big call to make, and he's left it, I think, as long as he possibly could do. In the end, it might help them. Remember, we were at the Brazil game, and you watched Marcelo going off, and it spooked Brazil for a little while. Such a major player going off. But then they got over it and actually looked better for it in the end, because they had 11 fully fit players on the field.
Muriel is playing on the left-hand side. Quintero is central. Cuadrado on the right, behind Falcao. Still 0-0. Ball by Koulibaly is long, aimed towards Sadio Mane. That'll be a free kick in favour of Colombia. So still 0-0, 33 minutes played in Samara. What about the other game? Japan against Poland. Conor McNamara.
Still Japan 0, Poland 0. It's not been a great game, this. Poland not stepping up from their opening defeats. Yoshinori Muto has had the best chance for Japan. He's the striker that they've brought in to start. One of 6 changes for the Japanese for this match. Japan 0, Poland 0.
Japan, a point will do. Senegal, a point will do in order to qualify for the last 16. Both games locked at 0-0. Kouyaté, cross towards Sarr on the right-hand side. Tight triangular passing pattern between Senegal, all in green. There's a foul there on Gassama, the right-back, who goes down, and that will be a free kick to Senegal.
It's so important here, that Colombia gets something out of this game. They really need to push it. At some point, they really need to take some chances. Again, we were talking last night about the fact that the Serbians had to take a chance. In the end, they paid for it, but they nearly got for it. Don't do it too early. I don't think Peckerman will do that too early. But you start looking at it now and you're thinking, you've only had one shot on target. And that was the free kick from Quintero. And that was never really endangering the keeper. There was a great ball in by Quintero that Falcao headers over the crossbar. Apart from that, very little from the Colombians.
Jose Peckerman, the 68-year-old, the Argentine, his contract expires after the World Cup. He's Colombia's longest-serving coach. I remember being in Berlin for the World Cup in 2006 when his Argentina side lost out to Germany in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. And as you say, he's got to strike it right when to make that chance, because staying in the game is absolutely everything. But this passionate Colombian support urging them on, as a free kick has been awarded about 10 yards inside the Senegal half, just in from the right touchline. Quintero's going to take it. Senegal have a relatively high line to protect the goalkeeper and jive from outside the penalty area. Quintero to take it, left-footed. It's deep inside the penalty area. The goalkeeper has lost it at the first attempt and then collects it. 0-0.
That's interesting. And Jai, he's not had a lot to do so far. One of the few, in fact, I think he's the only player still playing in Africa for the Senegal side there. And he looked a little shaky there. He came out, that was an easy ball to catch, and he fumbled it, so that will be noted. And I suspect Quintero will be putting it a little bit pacier towards him next time.
Part of international scene since 2010. These are his first finals. The tall goalkeeper away to our right-hand side, still 0-0. Gassama, the right-back, ducks underneath the ball, then clears, right-footed, long, headed away by Davison Sanchez, comes back towards Davison Sanchez, plays it forward, Mojica, Davison Sanchez, and now Yerry Mina, cross to Arias, the right-back, forward ball, Cuadrado, who back towards the right back. The two continue to exchange. Challenge made from behind. The referee says no foul. Idrissa Gueye towards Sadio Mane. Mane coming forward, runs in front of Carlos Sanchez, goes down and wins a free kick for Senegal.
That's a hard one. I know exactly what Cuadrado's going to say just now. Exactly the same happened to him like 3 seconds before, and he didn't get a free kick. I don't think it was a free kick in Cuadrado. He threw himself at the ground. In this case, Mane, he was pushed over. Absolute stick on. Referee got both of them right.
We will look ahead to England, I'm sure, at half-time. Coverage will start as soon as this game finishes, ahead of commentary from 7 o'clock on BBC Radio 5 Live, England against Belgium. But more crucially, we'll get the thoughts of Terry Butcher. Yes or no, should the penalty that was awarded, should it have still been awarded before the referee changed his mind?
Because we definitely look forward to hearing the thoughts of defender Terry Butcher.
Don't keep saying that to influence his decision.
Hey, we're players, ex-players. We always try and influence a decision. That's what we do.
It's a free kick to Senegal. Still 0-0 in both games in Group H. Salif Sane, the central defender, looks like he might be taking this one. Niang is just to the side of it. Colombia have everybody back.
It's about 30 yards, isn't it? 30, it's a long way out, but it's certainly doable.
It's a shade over 30 yards. It's a central position. It's touched to Sane, who strikes it right-footed. And it was always on the rise as it sails behind for a goal kick. 0-0.
Yeah, we should have done the line out. I mean, it's your centre-backs can up to take the free kicks. Better not say that. Oh, I know another centre-back we were talking to in a minute. But that was poor again. I mean, the free kicks from the Senegalese have been really poor. And it takes you back to England. You know, England, when they've been getting free kicks and corner kicks in this tournament, they've been absolutely magnificent. And that's not a fluke. That's hard work. That's time. That's consideration. And there's so many other teams in the World Cup, you know, it's just hitting home a lot of the time. Should be better than that by the time you get to a World Cup. You've got yourself together as a group, usually for 2 or 3, sometimes 4 weeks beforehand. That's enough time to work on a few free kicks and a few corners.
Colombia with far side. Falcao loses out. Kouyaté didn't keep the ball in play, did he? Sarr, yes he did. Mane makes the run ahead of him. Mane right hand side of the penalty area, can't control it, runs out of play for a goal kick. And a Colombia player has just gone down off the ball there. Mojica, the left back.
Absolutely off the ball. Did he go over his ankle? It's difficult to see. We were too busy looking at the play. His knee seemed he pulled his knee, maybe. Very, very strange thing. Mojica, his left full back there, and he's jumped up in the air. And when a player goes up at that sort of angle, you do feel that could be quite a bad injury.
Well, bearing in mind that they might need to make the substitutions later on to chase the game, because as it stands, they're going to need a victory in order to go through. They've already lost James Rodriguez, who clearly wasn't fully fit. Quintero at the moment has just come across to the near side to have a word with Jose Peckerman, the Colombian coach. But it might well be that they're forced into another change, because Mojica is getting treatment to his left knee at the moment. Just seemed to jar and give way.
Do you know what? I've just seen it there from another angle. I think Sarr runs across him and maybe catches his stud on the side of his knee. There's just one angle. He's just running across him at this strange angle. Now, if that is just a kick, then he should be okay.
Well, he's hobbling. He's back on his feet as he walks across towards the far side. And it looks like he is going to be able to continue. Otherwise, they might have been looking at somebody, as Frank Fabra to come on, who's an attacking left-back, plays for Boca Juniors. He's been linked with both Everton and Napoli, but for the time being, Mojica looks like he's able to continue. It's still goalless in Samara. Ball played forward by Kouyaté to Sarr, right-hand side. Mojica tries to stand him up, and as the cross is drilled in from the right-hand side, it drifts out of play, and it will be a goal kick.
I think production at the side of me here is beginning to agree with me with my final ball comments from this Senegalese. It's been awful, hasn't it? The final ball in, when they've got into some really good possessions, it has been absolutely dreadful so far. I mean, it only needs one good one, and they have got plenty of pace, but you sometimes look at some of those attackers there and say, you know what, going 100 miles an hour, see when you pass the player, good idea to slow down then to play a final ball. It's hard to play that final ball when you're going at full tilt, and maybe that's something you have to do or think about in the second half.
As a spectacle, I thought the game might be better. Balde won't get there as it goes through towards Ospina.
But it's just quality, really, isn't it? It's you look at, you know, when we watch the Senegalese playing, you know, you see the goals they score, the pace they play with, and it looks fantastic, but the subtlety, you know, the real bits of quality is not quite there to the level you would hope for, and certainly from the midfield to forward sort of areas. And when you look at Colombia, nice team, and I don't think it's just because of yellow strips, but it's Brazil light, isn't it? Very much Brazil light. Trying to play a bit like Brazil, but man for man, nowhere near as good.
20-7 local time in Samara, 20-6 back in the studio in Moscow, and in just under 20 minutes time as Falcao on the edge of the area then commits a foul as he loses the ball. In about 20 minutes time, Roberto Martinez will be telling his Belgian players, his team, have been kept in the dark. We are expecting wholesale changes ahead of that 7 o'clock kickoff English time. 7 o'clock, you'll hear it here on 5 Live, and maybe up to 6 changes from Gareth Southgate as to who finishes top of Group G. But as far as Group H is concerned, it's still Japan 0, Poland 0, and Senegal, Colombia is goalless, and we have 3 minutes to go to half-time. And the talking point of the half will be about the penalty that was awarded, and then the referee, after consulting VAR, changing his mind after 18 minutes. Davison Sanchez on Sadio Mane. But it's 0-0. But Senegal have had the better of the possession.
Yeah, well, certainly, I would say for 15 minutes, I would say Colombia were looking the better side, they were playing the better football, but slowly but surely, Senegal have taken control.
Kiyase looking towards Niang, able to turn, couldn't find Balde. Overarm throw out then by Ospina to Juan Cuadrado on the near side, the right, challenged by 2 Senegal players, out of play, it goes for a throw.
He's not got a lot of sympathy at the moment from the referee, and he's not getting any time at all on the ball from the Senegalese defenders. They are going in, they're thumping in, tackling hard. They're not necessarily fouling, they're just tackling them very, very hard. And at the moment, Cuadrado's really had no effect on the game going forward. He's rolling over again. Actually, I think the referee's now really fed up with him, and even when it is a foul, he's not getting it.
If the game doesn't improve in the second half, I'll be able to tell you my tale when I went to Senegal in 2003 with Patrick Vieira, met the president of Senegal at the time, and about the Giambars project that has certainly had an influence in this Senegal squad. As the ball comes forward, but that long ball from the back is going to be tidied up by Salif Sane, who turns and goes all the way back to Karim Njai, away to our right-hand side.
The thing is, you'll get time to tell that story unless there's a goal scored quite soon, and that's the problem. I mean, it's the worst cliche there is, but it's the truest one as well. This game needs a goal, and had it happened early in the game, I think we could have been in line for a cracker. But at the moment, it's beginning to fade a little bit. There is still a massive amount of tension. That's probably the biggest thing you'd say about it. There's a huge amount of tension there, but if Colombia don't really have a go and go out with a whimper like this, they'll be seriously disappointed themselves. And I think the fans will be disappointed with them too.
Cross whipped in from the left-hand side. Koulibaly was there to deal with it inside the penalty area. Ball played up now to Sadio Mane, able to turn. Sarr's to the right of him, but Sarr now comes in off the right touchline. Challenge is made on Sarr, who's gone down clutching his ankle. That'll be a free kick, 0-0.
Yeah, a little bit of stop-start now. There's just too many injuries, too many players going down, and when they go down the line about on the floor for a good period of time, referee got his yellow card out there. I think he might have actually shown it to
Mojica. So Mojica has been shown a yellow card. They actually only had 2 players sweating on a yellow going into the knockout stages, but for the challenge on Ismaila Sarr, the 20-year-old who plays for Rennes, he's been described as our Neymar, but he's not having much of effect so far on that right-hand side for Senegal, as we're about to see how much added on time there will be in the stadium in Samara. BBC Radio 5 Live. Cross comes in from the free kick. It's a deep one. Referee's blown his whistle, and it's still 0-0. Pat Nevin.
Actually, it's a better ball in. It's a ball into the right area. We'll give you that much. It's the right area. However, there isn't enough pace in it, so the defenders get plenty of time to get his body in the way there, and it just goes out harmlessly for a goal kick. But at least they got it in vaguely the right area at that time.
3 minutes of added on time, which we're now into, and it's a case of as you were in Group H, with Japan still drawing in the closing stages of the first half against Poland, 0-0. So they would be going through as Group H winners. Senegal and Colombia 0-0 in Samara, so Senegal would go through as runners-up. Colombia, remember, must win, or ideally need to win, unless Poland can do them a favour. Njai to take the clearance downfield. He waits. The 33-year-old, his 45th cap for his country, downfield, high. Muriel, who came on as a substitute for James Rodriguez, heads the ball forward. but Senegal haven't had to deal with too many problems in this first half.
I think they've been really comfortable. I mean, extremely comfortable. And I think they'll be surprised at that. I think they would have expected, you know, the pace of Cuadrado, obviously James Rodriguez before he went off. We've seen so little of Falcao. He's that one little flashing chance, and it looks more like the Falcao, not of Monaco, but of Chelsea and Manchester United. I was going to say half a yard short. I'm afraid it's a bit more than half a yard at the moment.
Yeah. The thing is that they've only had the one real scare, and that was Quintero's free kick that was spooned away by Njai. But apart from that, I can't really remember Colombia really creating much in this this
the
first
header
half.
over from the little header over from the cross from Quintero that Falcao went to just over the crossbar. But other than that, nothing.
Half-time in Volgograd. Conor McNamara.
Yeah, Japan 0, Poland 0. It's been flat, it's been slow. Japan have made the better chances. Takashi Usami was on target from a tight angle, but saved away by Fabianski. Poland, dreadful so far. They're already out. Japan, as things stand, are going through. Japan 0, Poland 0.
Poland have never lost all three group stage matches in the World Cup. They were the first European side to be eliminated. And they haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 10 World Cup games, but maybe they might be able to change that. We're in stoppage time in the first half of Senegal 0, Colombia 0, BBC Radio 5 Live. And on the right-hand side, Cuadrado up against the advertising hoardings to take a throw. It's going to be a long one. It comes in now, drops to the edge of the 6-yard area, headed away by Salif Sane. Comes back to Cuadrado, right corner of the penalty area. Balde will dispossess him. Balde turns away and runs down the right touchline, and then typical of the game that we've just seen really in this first half, runs it out of play for a throw.
Just a moment ago, we watched Cuadrado maybe make his first positive run and get away from the defender Sabali, and he hasn't done that often. In fact, that's the first time he's done it. However, it was no surprise that Koulibaly was over there. I think Koulibaly's been he's been my favourite player in the game so far. He's got a hold of everything, and he's attacked the ball every time, and he has lost nothing.
The half-time whistle has sounded. It's Senegal 0, Colombia 0. So goalless in both games. Japan and Senegal, as it stands, are going through. But the talking point was the penalty that was awarded. Davison Sanchez on Mane, penalty awarded. Then the referee from Serbia, Milorad Masic, then changed his mind after consulting VAR. The question is, Kelly Cates, what does Terry Butcher think? 0-0. Yes, it's Nevin and Dennis, the duo here watching this game. And I'm going to give you a quote, Kelly. It's from Danny Murphy. It's a brilliant tackle from Davison Sanchez. You could see the ball change angle. He gets the ball. It's the right decision as we're underway. So there you go.
I would agree with every single word of that. He gets the ball, it changes direction after he hits the player.
The debate will rumble on as the second half is underway. A reminder of the permutations. Japan, who drawing with Poland at the minute 0-0, that's good enough for them. They need at least a point. Senegal on course to qualify. They need a point to reach the knockout stages. But Colombia, they must win. Remember, they lost James Rodriguez, replaced by Muriel, so they now line up with Ospina in goal. Back four of Arias, Mina, Davison Sanchez and Mujica. Carlos Sanchez and Oribe in the centre of the midfield. Quintero, Cuadrado and Muriel behind Falcao. For Senegal, they made three changes. They have Njai in goal, Gassama, Sane, Koulibaly and Sabali the defence. Sarr, Gay, Kouyaté and Mane, Balde and Niang. 4-4-2 as Senegal in the second half, as we look in their all green with the white trim down the shoulders, are playing from left to right against Colombia in their yellow shirts and white shorts, who are playing from right to left as Muriel tries to get on the end of a throw down the side, on this near side, the left. Pat Nevin.
Yeah, and it's all down to what the Colombians do. The Colombians have to push it now. They have to go and try and change things, to try something new, bring players on, adapt to tactics. Eventually during this game they've got to really push and have a go, because this is it. This is your moment. This is a World Cup. Tried to play a long ball there for Cuadrado, who's got great pace, but so far he's not shown that he's got enough pace to get away from that defence. But at the moment, even though Senegal aren't playing well, there's no blame attached to Senegal. They're defending well, they're keeping the ball fairly well, they're not taking any chances. That's because they at the moment are through. It's up to you, Colombia. You've got to do something.
Bearing in mind that as it stands, Senegal would be the runners-up in Group H. They could potentially be playing England if England do go on to top the group. Neither of these two sides, what we've seen so far, 47 minutes in, would send fear down the England camp and Gareth Southgate.
There's a lot of people tuning in, listening to us talking about this game because they want to know about that more than anything else. And I'm telling you, England, not only nothing to fear, you would be massive favourites against either of these teams. Massive favourites. I think England are far better than what we've seen certainly so far in this first half. Terry Butcher makes a good point. It would be better in the second half, and we would hope to see that. And then James Rodriguez not playing makes a difference as well. But there is nothing on show at the moment that's been particularly scary, other than a few moments from Mane, who's looked sharp.
Well, they have to improve in the second half, particularly Colombia, otherwise they are going out 0-0. BBC Radio 5 Live as we get closer to England against Belgium in the final group game in Group G. Niang will chase after a ball that will be seen back by Mina to Ospina. Davison Sanchez moves away to the far side, the right, collects the ball, strokes it forward. Arias 15 yards inside his own half, and the right back towards Davison Sanchez. But Colombia, who lost their opening game to Japan, but bounced back in fine style, beating Poland by 3-0. When we saw that game, we thought, oh, Colombia, they might be all right, but they haven't really shown too much of a threat to Senegal in this game so far. We've only been playing now for 4 minutes in the second half, but they do need to up the ante, Colombia. Yeah,
and you look at Colombia, you think, well, Cuadrado has been so good, the last couple of years he's improved and improved. It's mostly about his pace, let's be honest about it. And he's tried twice in this game, he's tried to get beyond the full-back with pace from long balls. And he's struggled to get there, but every time he has got there, there's been a defender, usually Koulibaly's come over and killed that space off. So they know where the dangers are, the Senegal side, and they're doing a good job to stop it. And the other thing about Cuadrado, they're hitting him quite early. As I say it again, he just tried to do exactly the same thing. Play it short, turn, and pin his ears back, and then go for it. But it's going to have to be a special ball, and I think they're up for it, and I think they're ready for it so far.
Well, they need to take a leaf out of Serbia's book, because there was a spell there as Muriel slips his mark, and Muriel left-hand side. Muriel then runs straight into Salif Sane. There was a spell in the second half last night where we were watching and commentating on Serbia against Brazil. It was a sticky period in the second half, Brazil, where they lost control. Serbia played with real spirit, had a couple of chances that Mitrovic couldn't take. Colombia need to try and muster up a little bit of that. They need to have a spell in the game where they start to have a sustained spell of pressure to put Senegal on the back foot. But at the moment, by and large, they're playing in front of Senegal. Arias nicks it back to Carlos Sanchez, 6 yards over the halfway line on the right-hand side. Strokes in field. Challenge on Orobe came in quite early, and then all of a sudden it is Mina who's gone down, writhing in agony, so there's going to be a stoppage in play. It is still 0-0. Let's check on the Group H leaders then. Japan against Poland. Conor McNamara.
Still a very flat, uninspiring game here, Ian. Japan 0, Poland 0. I heard Pat a moment ago saying that England would have nothing to fear from the two teams that you're watching. I don't think England would have anything to fear from Japan on this showing. They had a few shots on target in the first half. Second half has just been bogged down in midfield. Unforced errors in both teams. It's not a great watch, this. It's Japan 0, Poland 0. Japan going through as group winners as things stand.
Mbaye Niang has just been booked for Senegal, and that is a costly yellow card, because he is one of 5 players on a yellow. So Niang, who you might remember had a loan spell at Watford 2 seasons ago, 2 goals in 16 appearances, will miss the next round should Senegal go through. And at the moment, as Sarr is caught offside, Senegal are going through with Japan, but Niang would miss the knockout first round in the knockout stages for Senegal through suspension.
Just a moment there, the Senegal side broke down the right wing there. They had to stop, for the offside. Seen another little slow motion replay of it and a freeze. Do you know what? It wasn't offside, and they were through it. And one of the best opportunities he'd had in the game, it was flagged offside, and we didn't see where it would have ended up.
Koulibaly's just late on Falcao. He's going to get a talking to as well. He's plays for Napoli, been linked with Chelsea, of course. In fact, 2016, Chelsea had a £47 million bid rejected for the very muscular 6'5" central defender alongside Salif Sane, but I think he's going to get away with just a warning rather than a yellow card, as it's still 0-0, 7 minutes into the second half. Japan against Senegal, both going through as it stands. Both games are goalless. Chipped up towards Cuadrado, level the penalty area right-hand side. Falcao can't control the ball. Muriel also wasn't there, as it'll be Mina, who will collect the ball to Davison Sanchez. Forward ball from Davison Sanchez, able to turn. Uribe in the centre of midfield for Colombia. It's a high ball out towards Cuadrado, but actually gives Balde an opportunity to get back to help out and head it behind for a Colombia throw.
See, many times I've tried to go down that right wing there, trying to get the ball long to Cuadrado to use his pace. I'll tell you in a moment the reason why they're doing that.
Muriel, who at the moment is in a central area, looking to link up with Falcao, trying to come forward on this near side, the left, but unable to get any headway for was Mojica, the left back. Falcao drops steep, spreads play out towards the right hand side, diagonal ball brought under control by Cuadrado, level the penalty area. Arias on the overlap. Cuadrado wants somebody to come out and he beckons Muriel as the ball is towards Arias, the right back. Muriel tries to get there. That's going to be brought away though by Sabali. Sabali able to turn. He's put a little bit of pressure on Salif Sane down towards that left touchline. Clears it. All of a sudden you sense that Colombia are just starting to get more of a foothold in the game. Yeah,
more urgency now. There's been a player down injured for quite some time. I was just trying to see who it was there. Maybe Sarr actually over there. But one of the players is down just now, and it's a bit of a shame that, because that was just exactly what they wanted, that little build-up of pace and chasing down, and you know, I think they could have kept on going there a little bit, but the referee stopped it in mid-play. Don't think there was any foul there. He just fell over at an odd angle.
So still 0-0, Senegal-Colombia. What about the early stages of the second half? Japan against Poland, Conor McNamara.
It's still 0-0 between Japan and Poland, but Poland have just had a good opportunity. Grosicki down the right-hand side. Lewandowski made a super run. It was on a counter-attack. Grosicki tried to cross it into him, and it was just too close to the goalkeeper, but only by a fraction. Just to put it in context, if Poland were to take the lead here, that would open the door for Colombia, that as things start in your game, both Senegal and Colombia would go through. But that's if Poland could win this game. As things stand, Japan going through winners, 0-0 for now.
Yeah, to keep it in destiny in their own hands, Colombia need a victory, but as Conor says, they would qualify with a draw if Japan were to lose to Poland.
Not convinced that would help this game a lot, Ian, to be honest.
No.
Both teams would be settling for a draw, and that's not what we want. At the moment, that's not the way this second half has started though.
Colombia can't afford to take that risk as well. They've got to show more ambition, more adventure in the second half. Mojica is forward. Mojica trying to get round the back, held off by Sane. By the way, that line last night from Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast show that we managed to work into the commentary in the Spartak Stadium. I might be going on strike after his comments this morning as the cross comes in. Good header away by Sabali, tucked in. The left back managed to flick it away under pressure, kept alive by Arias far inside. Cuadrado caught in possession by Idrissa Gueye. Idrissa Gueye goes in field, move breaks down. Carlos Sanchez back for the Colombia. They certainly have started to up the tempo though in this second half. Mojica is forward. Mojica looking to tangle with Gassama, and Senegal will bring it clear with Kouyaté. Kouyaté, leggy figure in midfield, strides over the halfway line, out towards Sarr, right-hand side. Niang is with him. Sarr looks to go on the outside of Davison Sanchez, pulls the ball back, edge of the area, flying header away. And then it'll be tidied up by Uribe towards Mojica. Forward ball. All of a sudden, for the first time, Pat Nevin, the game just feels to start to get a bit stretched as Gueye wins it back. Gueye right-hand side for Senegal. Senegal 0-0. BBC Radio 5 live. Gueye waits, right corner of the penalty area, plays it down, but that'll be dealt with by Sanchez, who'll let it roll out of play for a goal kick.
And that was what's surprising, so surprising in the first half. You just say weren't going for it. Neither team seemed to be that bothered, to be honest, which is the strangest thing when you know what's at stake just now. But second half changed really, really quickly, and they're not playing with fear now.
Up towards Falcao.
By the way, that's just showing you the problem I was just about to talk to you about a moment ago. They're trying to play it a little bit longer now, the Colombians, up the right-hand side. They know Cuadrado's get pace, so they're trying to stretch it that way. The reason why he has to keep on going there, he's the only one with pace up there, because Falcao is never going to run away from him now.
They have changed though, haven't they, Colombia? Because before Muriel, when he came on to replace James Rodriguez in the first half, was playing on the left-hand side of the three behind Falcao. He's now got into a central area alongside Falcao, so they're playing with two up front now, Colombia, in their yellow shirts from right to left.
Yeah, what they're going to ask, I think it's Mojica to do a lot more up and down that left-hand side, almost play the whole side himself.
Niang loses out to Davison Sanchez. Mojica will bring the ball under control midway through the Colombian half. It's still 0-0. Colombia have the greater possession, 58%. It's still 0-0 between Japan and Poland. So still, with just over half an hour to go, two of the three could yet go through if there was to be a goal in any of the games. But at the minute, you've got Japan and Senegal going through, but that could change, because as Connor says, a Poland goal and Japan will then come under threat. And that would help Colombia. But Colombia really can't afford to take that risk. They've got to start taking risks in this game to try and put pressure on Senegal to keep destiny in their own hands, as Quintero tries to fire a ball through from just inside his own half to Cuadrado over on that far side. Robbie Savage, by the way, his World Cup breakfast show tomorrow. Paul Gascoigne is his special guest. That's from 8:30. And of course, before that, Rachel Burden will give you the flavour and the reflections from Kaliningrad after England against Belgium. But as soon as this game's finished, you'll get the focus. 2 hours of build-up ahead of England against Belgium. You'll hear the voices of Shearer, Genius, Drogba, Keown, Waddle, John Murray. But 0-0. And I wonder who England will be playing in the last 16. Senegal or Colombia. Japan, of course, still harbour hopes as going through as the winners. There has been so much talk about, Chris Waddle was saying, as Salif Sane comes forward from the back, chips it forward, flick on then by Sadio Mane on the edge of the penalty area. Cuadrado will clear the ball away. There has been talk that Belgium are keen to stay in Moscow to finish as runners-up, because that's near to where their base is. Extra day's rest if they finish second in the group, and of course the easier side of the half of the draw as well for the knockout stages. But whether it's just all talk, very soon the talking will stop and it will be the action from Kaliningrad. Coverage on BBC Radio 5 Live. There's been a goal in Volgograd. Japan-Poland. Conor McNamara.
Sensationally, Poland have taken the lead. They have not performed well in this game, but they are 1-0 up against Japan. And it's the Southampton defender Bednarek who has scored. Free kick floated in by Kurzawa, decent delivery, and the defender with the instep of his right boot cannoned it full on the volley from close range beyond the Japanese goalkeeper. So Poland have got the lead, and as things stand, this is bad news for Japan. They dropped from having led the group just a moment ago down to third, and as things stand, it's Senegal and Colombia who are going through.
And listen to the reaction inside the stadium in Samara, because news is reaching the Colombians in their yellow shirts in the stadium. They're jumping up and down because they now know that a draw would be enough. Senegal would be going through as the winners of Group H, and Colombia would be going through as runners-up. Now, how does that affect this game? Because all of a sudden there is the jeopardy, because Japan have gone from topping the group to at the moment being third in Group H. It's 0-0 here as we watch this game between Senegal and Colombia.
Well, certainly should give the Colombians a massive lift. They didn't look as if they were going to score a goal. They hadn't been playing well. Suddenly, they're where they want to be just now. I think it'll give them a massive lift. I hope they don't sit back and expect Japan to go and lose that game, because anything can happen. And particularly this World Cup, late goals have been a massive feature of it. So the lift that's given them could make them maybe attack a little bit more and get the ball, which is exactly what they're doing with Cuadrado.
Muriel out to Cuadrado. It's a high hoisted ball. Falcao heads it back. Muriel waits. The goalkeeper will catch that ball, as at the moment it is Colombia on goal difference +2, as Japan conceding go to level goal difference, and Senegal top of Group H. And Alois Cisse from the sidelines just telling his Senegal team just to calm it down. Senegal, well, this draw suits them perfectly. They only needed a point to qualify. That was just to get through. But with that scoreline from Volgograd, they would be going through as the winners. And in fact, you can actually hear and see, as more the news continues to seep through and sweep around the stadium, now it's dawning on the realisation that Colombia at the moment are going through, because the yellow shirts all the way around the stadium in Samara are jumping up and down. The Colombians are celebrating, even though that they're still drawing.
Do you know, and this is very dangerous. We've watched this happen time and time again. So the Colombians think, oh, we're through at the moment, we might just sit back. Do not do that. The Japanese are well capable of scoring and almost likely to score because of the necessity there. If the Colombians sit back now, they have only themselves to blame if Japan got a late goal.
Mane forward. Was there a foul there by Carlos Sanchez? Yes, a push from the back. The Serbia referee Milad Mazic gives the free kick, and it's a central area, and this is certainly within striking distance, because Colombia, it's on a knife edge whether they are to remain in this World Cup 2018. 0-0, but Poland lead by a goal to nil.
That was a silly free kick there by Sanchez. I don't think it was any great danger there. He was running toward the goal, but there's plenty of players in the way there. And now you give Senegal a chance to hit a free kick from, 23, 24 yards, almost exactly the distance that you want, maybe a little bit more, 25 yards. That's exactly where you want to be hitting it from. Having said that, so far, the free kicks have been absolutely awful. I said this about Brazil last night, and then said they might change it this one. So I'll try again. They might change it this one.
Well, Niang is going to place the ball down for Senegal. It's right of centre. It's 25 yards out from goal. Ospina is just lining up his wall. There is a Senegal player either side of the wall at the moment. You've got 5 yellow shirts in the wall for Colombia. Niang waits. Mane is also there. Still 0-0. Japan are behind and at the moment are going out. Senegal have this free kick. Niang waits. Hands on hips. It's fractionally right of centre. Ospina won't get much sight of this. Mane actually strikes it, slips as he does so, and it balloons up in the air, and then he looks down at the turf that gave way, and it goes out for a goal kick, and the Colombian supporters celebrate.
It was absolutely awful. Yes, he did slip, but I actually think he put his standing foot far too close to the ball anyway. But yeah, the turf gave way there, and he's absolutely furious about it. But I would really argue that if you're Colombia, you've just had a lift there, use it in a positive way. Do not sit back. Do not try and play this out, because you can find yourself at 90 minutes having given away your own chance by not pushing forward. They were just getting back into the game there and looking a little bit better. Funnily enough, that roar from their own fans has had, well, not the most positive effect in them going forward.
Well, as it stands, these two sides will be going through, and what we've seen, neither would pose a real threat to England on the evidence of this game after 64 minutes, because we'll wait to see who England will play. The last 16 lineup will be completed, and of course you'll be able to get the reaction to that England game against Belgium later on the World Cup Daily podcast, which will be available in the morning on your commute to work.
We've got another free kick here, the Colombians, the right-hand side. Cuadrado is world-class at what he does. He goes and backs into a player, and the player just touches him to move him, away from him. He falls over. Most of the time he hasn't caught the referee. This time he has.
Free kick then to Colombia, right-hand side, playing from right to left. 65 minutes played. Colombia at the moment are going through with Senegal. Cuadrado stands over the free kick. Quintero is also there. In comes the free kick, flicked on. It's going to come out to Muriel, drives it in low, takes a deflection and goes behind.
Oh, it's one of the most exciting moments of the game. There have been very, very few of them, but he's caught it well, Muriel. On the full volley there. It was going in towards the corner, took a deflection. Well done, that's better. That's what we need to see from the Colombians. They need to make sure that they can impress themselves on this Senegalese team who are actually beginning to sit back themselves now.
It's going to be actually checking VAR for a possible foul in the build-up. That's why there's been a delay to the corner kick. Check is over, one would imagine now, as the corner's ready to be taken. Yes, indeed it is, and it comes now from Quintero, and the header from Falcao is over the top.
Yeah, it's a shame that, because that's the sort of positions that, in the past, players like Falcao make great use of. Very few chances. When he gets half chances, he usually gets them on target, and certainly he's done that regularly with Monaco recently, but that's 2 headers he's had, both about 7 or 8 yards out. Neither of them have been caught clean, and none of them have been on target.
Do you know what will happen though here? If a Colombia goal, then all of a sudden Japan would then go through as runners-up. So Colombia here, if they were to win, not only would they go through, as it stands, it would then be Colombia and Japan, and Senegal would go out. So all of a sudden, these two sides at the moment are going through, but one goal, and it flips the entire situation.
Yeah, but the thing is, they can't have the mutual non-aggression pact, because Japan may score a goal, so they have to keep on going. It's not like the England group where everybody knows what's going to happen beforehand, what's going to happen wherever. They have absolutely no idea here.
Muriel, goalkeeper Njai, quickly came off his line. Muriel goes down, still stays down as well as Senegal look to clear. So all of a sudden, this is 0-0, but a goal for either side, and whoever concedes will be going out of the World Cup as it stands because of this scoreline. Japan against Poland, Conor McNamara.
It is still 1-0 to Poland here, but as you've been illustrating there, a single goal for Japan can save them, can put them into the last 16. They've made an attacking substitution. They've brought on Takashi Inui. He's the man who scored against Senegal in the last game. But Japan need a goal, or as things stand, they're going out of the World Cup. 1-0 to Poland here.
Well, they're going out unless there is a goal in this game, and that might well save them. And checking for a possible foul as Njai quickly came off his line, but he got to the ball before clattering into Muriel.
Absolutely, clean as a whistle. Here's the odd thing, though. Do you know if a defender made that tackle that the goalkeeper made, gets the ball clean, but there's a follow-through, the referee would be within his rights for giving a foul there. But they never do it with a goalkeeper because they don't think they're as talented and know where to leave the legs after the actual first kick of the ball. I tell you what, it was reckless though, wasn't it, the way the keeper came out?
Midway through the second half, BBC Radio 5 Live, ahead of England against Belgium. All the build-up to that game in Kaliningrad coming up after this one, where it's on a knife edge as far as Group H is concerned. Japan 0, Poland 1. Poland, who haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 10 World Cup games. Japan at the moment are going out of the competition. But a goal in this game could be their salvation, as both sets of supporters in the stadium in Samara are celebrating as Davison Sanchez plays the ball forward. Mojica, the left back, midway through the Senegal half, and then it will be cleared away by Gassama, the right back. Gets plenty of distance on it. Carlos Sanchez beaten in the air as it runs through towards Yeremina, the Barcelona defender. He passes the ball forward. Quintero drops deep to collect it. Out to Arias, right-hand side. Arias forward. Muriel to Cuadrado. Arias has continued his run. Cuadrado with a cross, not dealt with by Salif Sane. Seemed to come off his left foot and in towards the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's just completely misjudged that. To be fair, I think Sane's had a really good game so far, and he goes with it with his left foot, which is the correct thing to do because it's coming onto his left foot there. But he's made a mess of that. He's got very, very lucky. Koulibaly's come over, had a little word with him. Koulibaly, he seems like the more senior member of that partnership. Good understanding between those two centre-backs today. They've given very little, haven't they?
Yes, you're absolutely spot on, Pat. Salif Sane, who will be joining Schalke after the World Cup, after 5 seasons with Hanover. Schalke taking advantage of a release clause for just a meagre £7 million to sign him. Powerful central defender as the ball up towards Falcao. Koulibaly was there. Falcao offside, free kick to Senegal, so it's still 0-0. Just over 20 minutes remaining.
And just you look at Falcao, the ball's played up to him there, and it's such a tough afternoon for him. We do say that Sane and Koulibaly have been superb there. The referee's waiting for another injury. Tell you what will happen in this game. If there's another goal in the other game, another goal for Poland in the other game, just watch how many injuries start happening then, how much time waste will happen then, because these two teams will realise that they're almost certainly through. Make a big difference.
The thing is, though, a Japan equaliser in that game against Poland, and then Colombia drop out, so it really is very, very tense. And the next goal in either of the two games will change the scenario, the dynamic in the group drastically, with 19 minutes remain, as there's just a delay in proceedings, and then the Colombians are coming across to take on some instructions from Jose Peckerman, their coach, the 68-year-old from the sidelines, as everybody watches, because we could be having a very dramatic 18 minutes remaining. It's Youssef Sabali that is getting the treatment, and looks like he's going to be coming off for Senegal.
He's definitely not moving well, is he? A couple of injuries there. We talked about Falcao a minute ago there. The ball was played up to him, and as I say, Koulibaly and Sane are coming over the top of him a lot. He's been fouled quite a lot, and I don't think the referee's giving him a lot of protection. I mean, he's not getting the pace he used to have, but certainly he's not getting any protection either.
Some very energetic dancing inside the stadium in Samara from the Senegal supporters, because as it stands, they're going through as the group winners. They will be the last African side remaining. I mean, Colombia going through with them.
It's not often you see it, but both of them are celebrating just now. But one of those sets of fans could be having a nightmare very, very soon. It's one of those ones that is incredibly tense in the stadium, and I think the players, they just have to ignore it. You have to go out and keep on trying to get that goal, and you get the feeling if either of these teams scores a goal now, that team will get through and they'll be finished whatever happens.
18 minutes of normal time remaining. BBC Radio 5 Live, where Poland are leading Japan by 1-0. The Japanese are going out 0-0 here. These two sides as it stands going through, unless something changes in the next 18 minutes. Cuadrado, right hand side, yellow shirts, white shorts, playing from right to left. Cuadrado waits. Colombia reached the quarter-finals in Brazil 4 years ago, losing out to the hosts. They're looking to try and reach the knockout stages for only a third time. They're on course to do that. Davison Sanchez on the halfway line, plays the ball forward. Quintero in a little bit of space, central area. He's got a little bit of support. Muriel in towards Falcao. The ball goes back. Uribe to Cuadrado. Cuadrado right-hand side. Quickly closed down by two green shirts. Cuadrado tries to go on the outside, and it's Balde who forces the ball behind for a corner kick, and then he thumps his chest as Senegal try and keep Colombia at bay.
Yeah, Balde there, left back there just now. I mean, he's been playing centre forward for most of the game, but obviously with the injuries, etc., he's gone back there to help out a little bit, and that gave a little bit of a lift there to Herman Cuadrado, who's coming more and more into the game now.
So it's going to be a corner kick to Colombia on the far side, the right, and Wague is going to be the player who is going to come on to replace the injured Sabale. So Musa Wague, who 19 years of age, scored the goal against one of the 3 goals against Poland, comes on as in comes the corner kick and the downward header and into the back of the net, and Colombia lead, and it's Mina with the all-important goal for Colombia. Celebrations of sheer delight inside the stadium in Samara. 1-0 to Colombia.
They finally got a really good cross in there, and they're all celebrating with their fans just now. The entire team lines up together and does a little dance together. But what a brilliant ball in this occasion. Their quality's been much better in those sort of crosses from those set pieces. But just to have a look, if they're going to check it in VAR. They always seem to do check it in VAR. But that looked like a pretty good goal to me. Real power in the header. Nothing the goalkeeper could do. Was there a block? I can't see any problem with that.
At the moment, Senegal are going out. Colombia would go through as group winners, and Japan, despite losing to Poland, would be going through. All because of the downward header from Yerry Mina, his second goal of the tournament, a goal-scoring central defender, to the sheer delight of the Colombian supporters in Samara. And all of a sudden, with 15 minutes remaining, Senegal are going to have to try and do something extremely dramatic. Let's get an update now, because there might well be a reprieve for Japan. Conor McNamara.
Well, you know, Ian, these both games taking place at the moment are far from classics, but the tension has become unbearable, the jeopardy now enormous. Just before you commentated on that Yerry Mina goal, Poland should have gone 2-0 up. Lewandowski missing a gilt-edged opportunity that would have put Japan 2-0 down. They are 1-0 down, but at the moment, with the scoreline as it is in your game, it's okay for Japan. They are back up into second place with Colombia's group leaders. Japan trailing here, but it might still be good enough to go through. Japan 0, Poland 1.
Senegal now need to equalise. Senegal needed a point. Colombia, their destiny is in their own hands, because they would have gone through with a draw because of Poland beating Japan, but they're doing what they had to do in terms of the victory. That's what they required. But Senegal now are going out unless they can score. Sadio Mane slips, and there might not be any African representation in the last 16.
This is what we needed after 5 minutes of the game, not after this time in the game. But look at the pace, the difference in the pace in both teams now. And certainly Senegal, they're on the front foot now, they're chasing, they're playing like a team they should have been playing it before.
Mane into Niang with a shot, saved by the goalkeeper, headed behind by Uribe. All of a sudden, hold on to your hats. A game that has been dull for the majority sparks into life with so much riding in the last quarter of an hour. Good save by Espina.
And you can tell it obviously wasn't all about, inability of these two teams. It was fear in these two teams that wasn't allowing them to play and go forward and take chances. Well, that fear's gone now. Everything's changed now. Everything's out the window. Both teams are going to hammer it now between now and the end of the game.
Senegal going out, Colombia going through as group winners with Japan as runners-up as it stands. Japan 0, Poland 1. Colombia lead by a goal to 0 against Senegal. Senegal have got to conjure up something, and they only have 13 minutes remaining. They've never lost in any of their 7 World Cup matches in normal time. When they lost to Turkey in the golden goal in extra time, it was a quarter-final back in 2002, and who can forget that memorable game when they beat France back in 2002 as they marked their debut. Balde with a corner kick, it's an outswinger, and the Spina makes the save bravely on his goal line. He may well have been caught in the face in the process. It's still 1-0 to Colombia.
I'm not convinced there's an awful lot wrong with him. He's trying to kill this a little bit, completely taking the snoot in. No, he's not really touched there. Little flick out of the leg there. The striker has to go for that there. Does he catch anything of the keeper? I think there's a waft of wind goes by the keeper's forehead there. No, not even touched him. Not even touched him. So, very disappointing. Ospina lying about there as if he's been poleaxed. Nothing wrong with him.
Ospina back to his feet. Colombia going through as group winners with 12 minutes remaining. But both games, one goal changes absolutely everything. 1-0 to Poland, 1-0 to Colombia. Ospina strikes the goal kick. Muriel will head it on the left-hand side. Senegal now the side that need to try and find some urgency in the closing stages. Gassama, the right back, throws it down the line, over the halfway line, looking to try and turn with Sarr. Was there a foul there by Mojica? Yes, there was, says the referee from Serbia. Kiyate able to take it. Aliou Cisse, who was captain of the side that reached the quarter-finals in 2002. Now the manager of Senegal is going to be making a change, as Koulibaly stretches forward over on that far side and continues to run, cuts inside now, edge of the area. Senegal out towards Sadio Mane, scoops the ball in towards the penalty area, and Sarr coming in field, right-footed as it dropped, hit it over the bar. That was an excellent opportunity for Senegal.
Yeah, it's so upsetting not to see them do this for the entirety of the game. We have got an absolutely brilliant game on now.
Let's get an update. Japan-Poland. Conor McNamara.
Still Japan 0, Poland 1. Japan still qualified for the last 16 as things stand, but it's all on a knife edge. Had that chance got in there for Senegal, Ian, in your game, then Japan would have dropped down. In fact, one goal in either of these games now can see Japan drop out of the top 2. If Poland were to get a second goal, that would force Japan down to 3rd position. Or if Senegal were to get an equaliser with you, that would drop Japan down into 3rd position. But at the moment, with the scores as they are, Japan and Colombia are going through. Poland leading 1-0 here, though.
The change has been made for Senegal. Moussa Konaté is coming on. Scored 14 goals for Amiens in France. He's been linked with Tottenham and Liverpool in the past. Really sprang to prominence with 5 goals in the London 2012 Olympics for Senegal. They need a goal here in the World Cup of 2018. As a cross comes in from the right-hand side, and it was aimed towards Sadio Mane. He just couldn't quite strike it, but Senegal certainly now throwing, and they have to pat Nevin, caution to the wind.
Yeah, they look superb. They look absolutely superb at this point in time. They're attacking from all angles, they're using all their pace, they're fearless, they're running with the ball. And the question has to be asked, why didn't you do it earlier? Had you done that earlier, you may have been winning this game and out of sight.
Well, they needed a point to qualify, as Mane can't get away on the right-hand side, but he's been helped out by Gassama winning it back. A lot of challenges at the moment going in, as it's won back by Idrissa Gueye for Senegal to Kiyate. Kiyate will leave it. Sane, Koulibaly in the centre circle. It's a left-footed ball back out towards the right-hand side. Senegal trailing by a goal to 0. An equaliser would take them through. Mane throws himself forward. No free kick in that challenge with Uruguay, as Colombia will clear. Muriel will be beaten to Kiyate. Kiyate goes in field to Idrissa Gueye. 9 minutes of normal time remaining. Let's get back to Japan-Poland. Conor McNamara.
Oh, high drama here. Remember, one more goal for Poland and Japan will be out of the running to go through to the last 16, and they've almost scored an own goal. The central defender, Makino, tried to cut out and cross. His deflection was going goal-bound, and then Kawashima, the Japanese goalkeeper, who's dropped a few clangers in this tournament, made a brilliant save across across to his left-hand side, but Japan are scrambling now. They've taken off their striker, their one and only striker, and they've brought on another midfielder. They just want this game to end 1-0 because that can see them go through as long as your game stays as it is. Japan 0, Poland 1 here for now.
Everything could still change in the 8 minutes of normal time. But for Senegal, they're either needing a Poland goal in Volgograd or a goal from themselves as an equaliser, as Colombia are going to make a change, and it is going to be, I think it's the 16 who's coming on, Jefferson Lerma, who's a midfielder, and Uribe is the player who's gone off. So Jefferson Lerma to come on. He only made his debut last November. He's also plays as a fullback or in the centre of midfield, but primarily defensive midfielder, just to try and shore things up.
It's so tight, this, isn't it? It's so tight, incredibly tight. You know, goals for, goals against, goals scored. Fair play involved as well now. This is scarily close, but everything can change with one more goal.
Japan currently second. The goal difference is level with Senegal. The goals scored are level. Both have scored 4 goals. So at the moment we're down to fair play. Because Japan and Senegal drew 2-2 in their group game. It couldn't be any tighter to see who's going to go through. Muriel tries to get on the end. Koulibaly will clear. Muriel throws himself in front of that challenge.
They need the ball up the other end. They absolutely need the ball up the other end. The Colombian work rate has been fantastic now, but they've been up against it ever since they went ahead there, and right now they're hardly getting out of their own half of the pitch. But it's constant pressure from Senegal just now. They're playing a system right now for these last 6 or 7 minutes with 5 up the field in a line, 4, sometimes 5 up the field, the ball being launched up, and they're giving it everything.
Sadio Mane in the penalty area, the referee's blown his whistle. Time is running out for Senegal. 6 minutes of normal time remaining. Let's get an update from Connor.
Well, it is still Japan 0, Poland 1. This has become a much slower affair now because the Japanese are slowing it down, thinking this score could be enough. But one thing, I mean, at the moment, the yellow card situation actually could become a factor here. If there was to be a big, punch up of the pitch here and a few Japanese players got booked, the table as it stands could actually turn around. But at the moment, even though Japan are losing 1-0 here, it is enough to bring them through, and it has become the 1982 Germany-Austria. They are just passing the ball right back to centre-back, to left-back, to centre-back. They're not even trying to go forward here. Poland, of course, don't mind because they're 1-0 up. They're going to go home with 1 victory. That's the most they could have achieved here anyway. So Poland aren't even trying to get the ball off them, and Japan are just passing it around on the halfway line. All the time I've been speaking to you here, it's just gone from one full-back through the central defence to the other and back into it again. It's like 1982 Germany-Austria all over again. Japan 0, Poland 1, and at the moment Japan going through.
So 5 minutes remaining. If that is the case in Volgograd, a lot will depend on what Senegal can try and create as they now make another attacking change. Diafra Sakho, formerly of West Ham United, is coming on. Niang, should they go through, who'll be suspended, is the player to make way. And they need something, Pat Nevin.
Well, they need anything. They're going to have to go and throw the ball into the box as often as they possibly can. I suspect they're going to have to get the centre-backs to go up as well on every occasion, maybe even during an open play here, and I think that's exactly what's happened. As I'm speaking just now, everything's going to be launched. They're going to try and use that height advantage they've got. So far they haven't got anything out of it.
Senegal go long. Cuadrado will clear for Colombia. Senegal in their all green, playing from left to right, try and win the ball and come forward now. Gassama, he was pulled back. That should be a free kick. Muriel with the foul, that was spotted. Remember, a Senegal equaliser. Senegal would go through as group winners. Japan would drop out of the reckoning. It is so tight, it is so tense. 4 minutes of normal time remaining. Senegal looking for the equaliser. They have a free kick. It's going to be taken by Idrissa Gueye. Aliou Cissé, the coach in his suit, with the dreadlocks watching on, looking pensive. Idrissa Gueye hoisted over, diagonal ball into the penalty area, cleared away. Break now maybe for Colombia. Colombia coming forward. Options ahead. Radamel Falcao, 25 yards out from goal. Tussling for the ball was Jefferson Lerma as well, the substitute. They couldn't get the ball. Up towards Konate, the substitute for Senegal. He's lost out on the halfway line. Muriel plays the ball to Mojica, the left back on the near side. Quintero, forward ball, cut out by a sliding Gassama. 3 minutes of normal time remaining. We'll find out how much added on time there will be in Volgograd. Japan still going through despite trailing to Poland by 1-0 on the fair play as it stands at the moment, because Japan and Senegal are level with absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything level. We didn't think it was ever going to come to this, but this is exactly what's happened. And right now, you know, if you're the Colombia, don't get not Colombia, you don't actually want anyone booked. That's the other thing. The bookings is the big thing in this point in time between the two teams, between Senegal and Japan. Japan, they don't want players booked. They better not get involved in anything.
2.5 minutes of normal time remain. Koulibaly with the foul to Colombia. It's so tight and it's so tense. Coverage of England is coming up after this all the way through. There's no drive tonight on BBC Radio 5 Live. Colombia going through as group winners, leading by 1-0.
By the way, the big result just now is 5-3. That's bookings 5-3 at the moment, so it needs 2 bookings for the Japanese. I don't think they're daft enough to do that.
I don't think it's going to change, judging from what Connor was saying in Volgograd. Japan trailing by 1-0. Falcao is going to be coming off, I think. He's taking off the captain's armband. Let's get an update from Conor McNamara.
Well, never seen the like of it. Japan, who are going through via the fair play rule, and at the moment they're just bending the rules in every way they can by being as uncompetitive as possible in this game. They, of course, don't want to give away any free kicks or fouls. They don't want to risk getting up any bookings that could see them slip down. Mind you, they need a couple for it to become a problem. 2 bookings for Japan, and this group could go to the drawing of lots. But at the moment, Poland have no incentive to come forward themselves. They've got a 1-goal lead. They're thinking, well, fine, if Japan would have played these games and want to run down the clock for a 1-0 defeat, that'll do Poland absolutely perfectly. And it's a farce, frankly. Japan inside their own half, just passing the ball around, but with this enormous jeopardy, Ian, that if Senegal score, then Japan have wasted all this time that they could have tried to get a goal of their own here, and they would go out of the World Cup. But at the moment, they're going through. Japan 0, Poland 1.
Colombia have made a change. Borja has come on to replace Falcao, so the pacey forward is on for Falcao. The thing is, at the moment, Senegal don't look like scoring. That's the frustration for the African side. Sadio Mane unable to get there, hooked away by Arias, the right back.
But come on, this is a World Cup. It's so many massive, important late goals. It just needs one chance. It just needs one ball lumped into the box. However, Colombia almost got away there on that occasion. But it is phenomenal how close it's come, and how it was such a phony war for so long, for about 60, 70 minutes. And suddenly it's just broken out.
Koulibaly has put the ball out of touch on that far side. Arias is going to take it. We're going to find out very, very soon how much added on time there will be. Poland lead by 1-0. Colombia are 1-0 up. Colombia and Japan going through. Colombia as group winners. Japan as runners-up, courtesy of fair play. Senegal come forward. They might not have much more time to rescue their World Cup campaign in Russia. The ball played in field, looking towards the substitute, Diafra Sakho, edge of the area. Free kick goes against Senegal. It's a free kick to Colombia.
And that hurts them a lot there, because we're trying to put a little bit of pressure on there. They've got very, very little time. They're going to get another 4 minutes. 4 minutes to go out the World Cup. Now, to be honest, we were talking about Conor there about the bookings. What if there was bookings for time wasting over in that game, which you think almost there should be, the fact that they're just playing the game out, but it's impossible for the referee to give that. And then again, what if it was a red card? Again, you say it's unlikely, but that would change everything as well over the Japanese game.
And what about the penalty that wasn't awarded after the referee changed his mind in the first half for Senegal, when Mane was brought down by Davison Sanchez? Talking points on a dramatic afternoon to the conclusion of the games in Group H. Japan, Poland, Conor McNamara.
We are into stoppage time, 3 minutes being added on. We've already played a minute of that. Japan 0, Poland 1. It's become a farce. Japan just holding on to possession on the halfway line. This is going to be much, much discussed. I mean, this is the reason they play the final group games concurrently, to prevent teams having this sort of ridiculous dead rubber. They're not even running now. 2 Japanese players are in a standing position, rolling the ball to each other inside their own half. half. There's no Polish player within 15 yards, and it has become an absolute farce. Because we are a minute or two ahead of you here, you know, this game is going to end before you. If Colombia decided to, they can knock Japan out of the World Cup. They could just boot it into their own net for an own goal. Colombia would still go through. Japan will be out.
Well, as the ball goes long for Senegal, they need the goal, do Senegal, as Colombia get ready to celebrate, and they're just desperate for the referee to blow his whistle. We're at halfway through the allotted 4, and Senegal are desperate because they're accusing Colombia of time wasting now.
Yeah, and what Connor's come up with is a great scenario of what actually could happen in a weird set of circumstances that should come to pass. I promise you, none of the players have figured that out there just now. All they're doing is wondering what's in front of them, and at the moment the Colombians just want to make sure they hold on. They've got themselves top of this group, and of course, well, that might count for something, but I don't know how much it will count for. They just want to get through, that's all they care about.
Senegal need a goal. Time desperately running out. 90 seconds of added on time remain. It's 1-0 to Colombia. Ball coming forward now with Jefferson Lerma. Colombia were going through as group winners. Never in our wildest dreams did we imagine that there would be such a dramatic conclusion after 2 games that, let's be polite, were slow burners for the majority of the afternoon. BBC Radio 5 Live. Arias to clear, up towards Muriel, offside.
Well, you've got to give them a due. Colombia, they've left 2 players up front. It was a bit of a shocker at that point in time because there are only seconds to go. They're trying to get hold of it. However, I think we've got full time elsewhere.
This is borderline bringing the
World
Cup into disrepute. It's all over here. Japan 0, Poland 1. Poland have got the victory that they wanted. They knew they're going home anyway. Japan have defeated, but will it be enough? It will be unless Senegal score.
Senegal are on the attack. Ball scooped into the penalty area over the head of Davison Sanchez. Ospina didn't pick it up. Now he will. Now he will. And we're inside the last 30 seconds of added on time. Aliou Cisse is frantic. Jose Peckerman is trying to keep his cool. Aliou Cisse is desperate for the ball to be back in play. Ospina is going to strike this long. Colombia get ready to celebrate. Senegal, unless something dramatic happens, are going out. And Japan have had a reprieve despite losing to Poland by 1-0.
And I suppose they will go back to the fact that, you know, it is, you know, the fair play, but you start looking back at some of those bookings at the end and think, should they be bookings, should they not be? What should the referee have done in other games like the game today?
Last throw of the dice. Koulibaly goes long, but the referee blows his whistle, and the yellow shirts of Colombia celebrate because Colombia have qualified as Group H winners, and Japan are going through with them despite losing to Poland. And Senegal, who only required a point, go out, and the last side, the last African team in Russia 2018, bow out to the competition after losing by 1-0 in the tightest of margins.
Do you know what? The strangest of strange games, this one. It didn't settle out until that goal was scored, and then suddenly both teams actually started playing and putting everything they possibly could into it. Do you know what? The whole thing about it, you look at Japan, you look at Senegal, and you look at Colombia, and had any of them, and they all could have gone out today, had any of them gone out, you almost didn't have any sympathy, because each of them at some point in the day stopped really trying to win a game of football. So I wouldn't have had sympathy with any of them. Well, sadly for the Senegalese, they're the ones that are going out. If they'd have played the way they did in the last 20 minutes, after they lost the goal, they would not have lost this game today. I'm absolutely convinced about that. So in many ways they only have themselves to blame.
Senegal 4 points with Japan, level on goal difference with Japan. They've both scored 4 goals, but it is the fair play that ultimately separates the two, and Senegal will talk and turn to the penalty that wasn't awarded in the 18th minute. A controversial decision, but it's finished Senegal 0, Colombia 1, and Colombia qualify as Group H winners on a dramatic afternoon. Kelly Kate.